Hello everybody, welcome to Beepanock Farm and welcome to the next part of our sheeping season, and it's tupping time. The really important stage of the pre-tupping checklist is to make sure that there isn't a huge worm burden going on in the ewes or the tups. I mean, the lambs will have to be checked separately. So what I've done this morning is I've caught all of the girls in a pen. There's 22 of them in here now. And what I've done, I've fed them in this pen. I've got a couple of samples out of them while they've been eating, and then I've let them out two at a time. I find that tends to work for me because they sort of trot off a couple at a time, and I'll pick one to follow and collect a sample, because for some reason when you've penned them, they seem to like hold on to their poo for a bit, and then when you let them back out, they poo. So what I do is I go around with a dustpan and brush and I collect it. It's not glamorous, but this is my dustpan and brush. So I just go around sweeping it up. I'll pop it into this freezer bag. I am going to have to double bag it before I take it into the vets, because unfortunately I've managed to get poo on the outside of the bag. So I'm just going to let a couple more of the girls out, and I'll go around after. And then as well, if I feel like maybe I haven't got quite enough, I'll see if there's any fresh samples being left in the pen while I've been doing this job, and add them all together and take them into the vet practice. Another essential part of pre-tupping maintenance is taking dirty wool off used back ends. This is Yazzie. Yazzie's in the stand because she really is rather pooey around the back end, so Joe's just taking away some of this dirty and damp wool, which is going to attract flies, and also it's not nice for the ewe, and it's not nice for the tup that's working the ewes either. And if there's any like little loose tassely bits of wool that got missed around shearing time, I'll probably just nip those off as well. So you might actually think, why is she inside preparing for tupping? Well, one of the reasons is it's absolutely peeing it down at this moment in time. And the other reason is I'm just checking and making sure to see which females are going with which males. This here is our sheep folder. So all of the pedigree certificates are in this file for the males and the females. And each one has got a record of who they are, who their father is, who their mother is, and also who on the back I've written who they were mated with and what their offspring were, whether it's successful, whether it was male, female, blah, blah, blah. And then also I'll go a bit from memory as well as to who actually had good lambs with who. Do have some where they're related as well, so there's a really large proportion of the females that are here that are related to the older tup, so they can't go in with him, and then now actually there's a few who are also related to the middle tup, so they're probably like grandchildren of the older one and children of the middle one, so they have to go to the youngest tup. But actually I want him to have the biggest group anyway. He gave us really good lambs in his first year, and there's no reason for him not to have the bulk of the ewes. I've ended up with this rather crude list, but that's what I'll take out when we go out into the field and split them up into the groups shortly, just as a little reminder as to who is going with who. So once again, the weather gods are against us and it's pouring down. So we've tried to catch the sheep in the field to split them up into the three groups to go with the different tups, and they've not come. So Joe's actually tricked them and brought them into the shed and shut them in here. But it does now mean that we've kind of got to catch them one by one to put them into the trailer in the various different groups. So it's probably going to take a little bit longer than we anticipated originally. And look, they're quite suspicious. They know something's different. They're like, we don't do this every morning. Something's going on. The next part of the process was to catch the boys. So they're in the trailer. Just got them in with a bit of feed. It's just the easiest place to put them, to be honest, on a day like this. And Joe's just fitting the harnesses. They get a bit excited when they get the harnesses on, because these guys have worked before. They know what's coming. They're like, show me the leaders. So there's this big lad, the youngest tup, Balmoral, having his on. We're usually getting a bit of a palaver because we only use the harnesses once a year, so we forget how to put it on between, so it can sometimes be a little bit stressful. Obviously you can get a bit of argy-bargy as well when you're in a trailer with 400 kilos plus of tup. It can be a bit harassing, which is why I'm being a bit weedy, I suppose, and being on the outside and filming it. So this is the middle group of ewes that's in here. I think there's 6 ladies for Zeb. Zeb's waiting, I want to say patiently, but fairly impatiently actually. Hello ladies, I've been thinking about you. So they'll give him a bit of a sniff, and then he'll give them a bit of a sniff. And we see how things go on. Of course, he might just think of his tummy. He's quite a rotund chap, so he might just focus on eating. So 48 hours on, this is Val, him with his group of ladies. I think that's Yazzie stood next to him. Zion, Zumba, Yogi, Snowball. So our old favourites. As I said in the earlier clip, he can't go in with a large proportion of our ewes because it's either their father or their grandfather. And bless him, he is looking his age, so I think this is probably all he can manage. We don't want to push him. He kind of needs putting inside and feeding up, really, not playing with the ladies. But he's okay for now. He'll be all right. Doesn't look like any of these ladies have got marks on them, so it can't be the right day for any of these girls. So I'm just going to give them some food. If we look at Zeb's group, we can see that Zeb's been a busy boy. So this is Yarrow. Yarrow was marked yesterday. And that's Bonnie. Bonnie's been marked today. So Zeb's obviously keen to get on with his work. And keen to get on with some eating, eh lad? Horses are not pleased that the sheep are being fed. And they've not. Good boy. This is the third group, the biggest group. This is Balmoral. He's just busy itching himself on this gate, having a tickle. And this is his girls. I can't see anybody's marked in here yet. I could be wrong. They're all very hungry though. I'll give them some food and have a proper look. The girls and boys have been in together for a week now, so it's time to go and look at progress. So this is Val's group. In all honesty, I am slightly concerned by the condition of Val. He just appears to be getting thinner by the day, despite me upping the feed for this group. And nobody so far has got any marks on the bottom, so I don't think he's served any of them. And I would have thought within a week, he wouldn't have served all, but he certainly should maybe have at least investigated a couple of them. Yazzie's sporting a rather nice hairpiece, which I'll remove for her in a minute. As I'm walking down, I thought I'd explain to guys who maybe don't understand what the purpose of the crayon is that the boys wear on the chest. So they wear a harness, and in it is a coloured crayon, and that coloured crayon will mark onto the ewe's back. So when he mounts her, he'll mark her with that colour, and we'll know that that ewe has been served on that day. We will change the crayons approximately every 16 to 17 days, because that's roughly when they cycle. So if they cycle again, the pregnancy wasn't successful, the tup will serve them again, and they'll then get a different colour crayon on them, because we'll change from probably a yellow to an orangey red and then a darker colour for the very last round of service. So it tells us who's been served on what day and allows me to calculate roughly at what point they're likely to deliver their lambs. So really what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up for as easy as possible lambing time when the time comes. And also it allows us to know what's going on with our tups. But as I just said, it's a bit concerning that Val hasn't served any of his, and it allows me to know that if in a few days' time that's still the case, we might actually need to move some of those girls in with one of the other boys. Very different story in this group. This is Zeb and his girls, and as you can see, there are a few. Perhaps can't see that well in this light, but there are 3 yellow bottoms in this group. So he's already served 3 of them. Right now he's just thinking about his tummy there, isn't he? handsome young chap, Balmoral, waiting for me at the gate, policing all buckets and all females and scratching his bottom. As far as I'm aware, and I'll go in and check in a minute, he's actually only managed to serve one of his girls. So maybe things are just not quite going yet. I suppose we're only a week in. Also say in Balmoral's defence, he's got the young girls, so they're not likely to be cycling just yet. Their bodies perhaps aren't quite ready. So he's got a combination of young ones that have never been served before and some that have only been served once before, and then a couple of mature ladies. So it might just be the case that nobody's really got going in terms of cycling in here yet. I'm not worried. He has got the biggest group and he has got the most to work, but I think he'll be fine. I'm sure he's up to the job. So this is good news. On further inspection, when I've come in, there's some yellow marking on the back of this is a ewe. She's actually first time to be served ewe, and looks like today's the right day for her. And he's rather rudely, as they're eating their food, going around trying to see if he can get it on with any of them. Not sure about that chap. Seems a bit improper to me. And so there we go, that's the first week's tupping done. I'll of course let you guys know how we get on if you keep your eye out for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you could give us a like, that would be amazing. And if you could subscribe to our channel, that would be even more fantastic. And we'll see you all again very soon. Bye.